certification here. Under International Professional Engineers Agreement, under Royal Charter 1935, certification based on corporate membership of Institution of Engineers India, and here is another membership that is called senior membership of fellow membership of Institution of Engineers India, that is under Royal Charter, by Royal Charter. And we have to talk at length something, various topics at improvising level. Whatever comes to mind to be debated or not debated, you can say conferred with, or whatever you say, one and debate we call it, because you can participate, but I think you are not taking interest. Well, doesn't matter. Somebody will take interest sometime, and this is regarding buildings and structures. I can see this building here, and this is management. You can say state of art contracts, and various schemes, structural profiles, swimming pools, etc., etc., related laws and all that is where we have to move. Good morning. This is your friend Suraj Singh, engineer Suraj Singh. You know me well, I think. Name you know, or my face I don't know, but as many of you know me, I have been in touch with you for many, you can say for around now, I can say around 2 years. I think I started talking to you somewhere in February or March, I remember. That was in 2019. So 2019 has disappeared, 2020 also has disappeared, and 2021 has initiated. So we can say around two years, and meanwhile I lost few months also due to my tragedy, my accidental tragedy. Well, now we are gradually trying to come to reinstatement as previous, but it takes time. It shall take time. Well, in this talk, I usually speak about profession that is related to people of this country and whole world. Profession of engineering that changes common life. Profession of engineering, or you can say engineering, that impacts on life of everybody. Your life, you know what you expect from life or from materials in life. Everybody expects something, but what do you get? That's another point. Some you get directly by your own investment of money, and some you get through state or through nation. For example, you use roads, streets, that is through nation, or you use natural resources like air, sun, that is through nation, natural, God. But something you use yourself, and that is called your own money product, and that may be, you can say, your belongings and your permanent belonging, that is your building in which you live. If it is rented, okay, fine, that's different, but to some extent you are also living in that. Even if you are a tenant, in capacity of tenant, you're paying rent, but your life remains there in that building and at your risk. It's something extraordinary that we have to analyze first. Where do we stay? How do we relate ourselves to others? Engineering works everywhere in life of all. It works everywhere. You can't avoid it, even if you can't avoid it. It's such a situation that it's the same thing. You respire, you breathe. You can't say, I don't want to breathe. That is not in your control. If you are living, you have to breathe. If you are living, you have to stay in this body. You cannot leave this body. You have to use your eyes if these are good, healthy. You have to use your mind. You have to use all your organs, even if you are sleeping. We have to think this way. We use all this, but we rarely think about this. And this thinking capacity is very important for everybody. If you want to sharpen yourself, your working, your speed, your vistas, you have to sharpen them. You have to make them more useful, more powerful. You can do it only through concentration and through application again and again. You can say repeated application of what you know. Since childhood you learned so much. In that time of children age, very school age, you can say primary school age or even middle school age, you tried to learn so much, but you could not understand that much. That is true. We learn a lot and we say, I got merit, I got this division, that division, so many percent marks. That is just a kind of comparison, but nothing absolute. How much did you learn? You measure yourself. Nobody can measure. You were in class, how much you picked up in class and how much you were thinking somewhere else, that was your own system. Some students used to concentrate on what teacher used to write and speak and how that teacher could support you for learning point of view. How much you were aware that time, now you can evaluate. Maybe you are aware 30% time, or might be you slept some time in that period, sitting on your desk, or you were not happy with that class but you were compelled to join that class because of your syllabus or you had to. But if you evaluate your performance there, I think more than 60-70% students were not happy, because it is something to relate to your mind. Yes, if it relates to your game, to your sports like kabaddi, like so many other types of games, kite flying or running, jumping, like that, where you enjoy bodily, there you will concentrate and you will say, I got number 1, I got number 2. But while it comes to application of mind and use of mind, it's really for students very much tragic, because not more than 10-12%, 10-15% students are very concentrative in learning that one. And that's where we say there's a difference in level of education. It's not level of education, actually you should say concentration level. Everybody thinks you are a student, you are in school and you must learn something, but when you come out of class, you try to take notes from others. So please give me note, I could not understand that very well. I will do homework and this and that. This means there was ignorance, there was carelessness somewhere. Though you as a student it was your duty to learn everything, but because you didn't like it, it was a strain for your mind or your body. You don't want to, sometimes you feel, why I have to listen to this teacher all the time, and this teacher is scolding me, this teacher is insulting me, that kind of, and you try to isolate yourself from gain of knowledge. But when time comes, it's different. Now you are matured. Even if you did not study that time, you can improve at any time in life, any time, whatever time. It doesn't mean if you are not a good student at that time, you can't be good professional, you can't be good worker. It doesn't mean that. That you can do any time in your life, that is permissible. Don't worry about that. Life is life. I should not condemn myself, I should not come something like that. Oh, I could not do that time, so how can I do it now? No, that's not true. You can do any time. It's life, and life is for you, life is for your family, and future. Life is for future. That time I was also very weak student. I could not understand because it's not because I didn't want to study, I wanted to study, but there were some other circumstances that controlled me, and those circumstances always used to be heavier than my other requirements. So maybe I could not participate in education to that level as it was expected due to various reasons, you can say. But everybody doesn't sail in same boat. You have different boat. My father could not provide me that efficient boat you might be having. Why I am giving you this all background? Because engineering is also having same background. If you just take case, if I were in that background, I could not become very good student for 11 years in my studies. I don't even remember that I got some award or something. I never got any award in my life. I was very bad student, you can say. I still remember only in third standard I got second prize. I mean, to the second level. You guess first and second and third like that. I remember I guess second. Otherwise, all my 10, 11 years I was performing very bad. I reached 8th class and then qualified 8th class, and then I reached 9th class. In 9th class, in those days, it was, I think, I passed higher secondary in 71, so it was 68, I remember. In 68, I have to, everybody, when you used to pass 8th class, in that case, there was a change in stream, and there were streams like this: science stream, commerce stream, arts stream, like this, And there was some set criteria. If you have more than so many marks in mathematics, you can go to science stream, or if you like, or otherwise you can go for arts stream and a commerce stream. And in my institution, medical sciences, or you can say biology based, one was there. So I had to certainly opt for engineering base, and based on my mathematics, I got science. While many of my classmates, although you are not very good student, you cannot understand why are you joining sciences. Take arts or take commerce is better than science, easy to study. You are not good in study, this and that. But I don't know, I had to take because my father wanted me to become like engineer. So I now compare that past for 11 years. I now evaluate myself that I was in no class of grade, you can say. I was below average. Below average in a sense that I did not invest my time in studies up to even 11th when it's a board examination, and I just passed, that's it. I just passed. You cannot even think how many marks I got that time. Now people are getting 90%, 95%, 98%. That is beyond my imagination, and that was beyond my imagination, because I could not get that level of education. Although I can't blame education. Education was very good, teachers were very good, excellent teachers. I still remember them, and by imagination touched their feet, because these students, these teachers taught me a lot, particularly English teacher and many other science, physics, chemistry or mathematics teachers. They were devoted a lot to class, and they felt, they used to feel insult if some parent sought tuition at home. Why you want tuition? Am I not teaching good in class? But still people preferred, because of for 1 or 2 hours the daughter, son remains occupied only from that angle, because at home they will do naughty acts and it will cause problem to parent. Well, that was one point. Otherwise, I never ever got any tuition. My father could not afford that. My father even could not afford a school fee. So how could I expect that I should go to tuition for improving my knowledge? Well, life moved on in that cadre. Very bad student I was then. I could not get admission into direct degree because my marks were very small, very low percentages, and And I did not even know what is engineering degree and what was diploma. We just, some students knew it, some knew whose family had some background of education. But my family did not have any background, so I did not know anything. One great person just supported me and said, okay, I will take you somewhere if you want. You bring that application form and I'll take you. Your marks would permit and I will take you there. So I got admission into Polytechnic, and I didn't know what was civil engineering, what was mechanical engineering, what was electrical engineering, and this is very common engineering. And I just got in civil engineering, and during interview time they asked me which branch you want. I told them, can I get mechanical? Okay, I give mechanical. No, give me civil. I said. It was like that, you know. It's all fortune, how you go, how you move. So I'm giving you this background because first you should understand a person whom you are dealing or you're talking to you. Don't expect that I'm very brilliant, I'm saying. Don't think that I'm very innovative. I am below average, but time comes in life when even you have been a bad student. When your eyes open, your brains are open, or opportunities extended to you, and you become sincere. Though I was sincere, I cannot say I was not sincere. I was disciplined, I was sincere, I was dedicated, I was committed, I was determined. But circumstances did not support me. So I can say I was off track of education, even then I could get certification of school, and I could go to diploma engineering and pass 3 years diploma. And then I got some job also. In those days there was no problem of job. I got job, but I was not happy. Somebody challenged me in life, some of my friend, and it was around, you can say it was about 4 years past my education of diploma. Somebody challenged me because he was already studying further. He was studying further improvement of education, so he challenged me, you cannot study further, you just marry and settle. And so I am very, in that way, I am very, I'm different sort of person. If somebody challenges me, I don't act in arrogance way, but I say, okay, I'm not arrogant, you're my friend. I told him, okay, let us see. That person has already, I think, crossed 25% of that pass in examinations, which I did not even start, and I think at 25, more than 25, 30, 40% is passed. Then I say, you are challenging me. No, I'm just telling you, you cannot do, you just go marry and enjoy life. Because job was, we had government job, so there was no problem. Then I say, okay. I did not say anything. I said, okay, let us wait. And I started studying. Because this was self-study, you had to only appear in examinations. There were some private institutions as well, coaching classes. And usually it was called Institution of Engineers Section A and Section B studies. You see, I had to, of course, face many troubles in that education. I had to pass 17 papers. There were 2 parts, Section A and Section B. In Section A there was nine papers of engineering. That was common section, and there was Section B, in which I had to pass 8 papers, and there was in between sandwich project, referee project, in between A and B, and without that report of referee, who must be an engineer and member of institution, I could not get permission to appear in Section B examination. This was a rule at that time. And there must be a gap of 1 session, or 6 months in between appearing in passing Section A and appearing in Section B examination. Well, I don't know. I could not even realize that I was a good student. When I appeared, I tried to study further. I thought that these are only 9 papers, and I was in job. I could not find that much time. that much time of involvement or devotion to education, because job is job. You cannot give up job. Your family, your parent, your brothers and sisters, they depend on you. So what used to be in those days, I used to attend some classes, and then at home up to midnight or past midnight I used to study. Means I thought I will appear this time in 6 papers, 6 subjects out of 9. Though I could prepare all 9 also, but my circumstances didn't allow me, and this was different type of study, very difficult study, you can say. People were afraid of this study. Oh, his study is very difficult. It's better to join some university and get direct education. Because here was not regular classes, it was just privately based classes, but examinations were regular. And they say they don't give, they don't care if you fail. If you have 49 marks and a subject is passed at 50 marks, they don't have any sympathy with you and you fail. I knew that. But I evaluated that time and I estimated that it is like a mountain. When I used to walk past that center of Delhi, of Mr. Shaminus, I said, oh, it's like a mountain. I'll never pass this. I can never pass this. I was so much, so much underestimating myself. I could not pass. No, it's not possible. I'm a very bad student. I did not know my capacity of learning. That was my problem. Though I was very interested in general issues like newspaper reading, like debating with people, or you can say like what I should say. When old people talk, to listen to them, what they used to talk, how they debate, all that. When how to argue politically, and I don't know. I used to feel very happy or pleased when people used to talk in politics in those days. It was Indira Gandhi's resign that time just started, and I was really interested in political news and what they used to debate, talk about how we got independence, this and that. What is this bloody RSS and what is that? They used to talk like this. Some were supportive of RSS, some were against RSS. Used to talk of Patel, this and that. In those days, I could not understand anything. But it was interesting. They used to, some old people who could not read well, people would say, oh, get a paper and just read it for us. And I used to read for them English, this and that, and say, oh, no, this is not right, but this is right, but speak this word as well. So it was a kind of indirect training of English, and I could not realize that time I was getting training. And now when I got, so when I started learning that section A, I appeared in 6 papers, and my colleagues used to joke, oh, there was no seating arrangement he got. He could get on all 9s. He is getting 6 because there is a problem on seating arrangements. Means joke against me. Why are you appearing in 6 papers? Why don't you appear in all 9? But even for 6 I was not ready. But I studied well. Means my problem is, or my solution is, you can say both. If I decide something, I don't announce it. When my plans are always secret. Even my family people don't know. I decide something means this means that would happen. If I decide something and do not announce, I keep in my mind and my conscious somewhere, but I follow it up. I think God helps me in that way. I should not say it's my power. God has given me that gift. If I say I would do it internally and with low pitch, without any announcement or something, I'm going to do that. I think that assumption, or that you can say, what you call it? Manokamna? No, I don't know. That objective, I can say, that objective shall be fulfilled. This I know. And that time I did so many things. I was very good artist, pictorial artist, sceneries and portraits. Scale up, you can say, not direct artistic, scaling up. I haven't that in summer vacations, 2 months vacations. I'm sorry, I'm just wasting your time. Just I want to remind, You means because I'm talking of engineering and this is my background. Uh, 2 months were very long for me, and I never used to go to anywhere. I used to sit on my shop that was further around. So what I used to do in my schooling, I used to sit down and just take some photograph of whosoever any photograph, scale it out in graphical mode by pencil and by foot or scale with rubber. You scale it out and then take a drawing sheet or some sheet, and then you can say enlarge it in some scale, so that scale on photograph and scale on drawing sheet are proportional, no variation. It you can say 9 times, or you can say 16 times, or you can say 25 times, or you can say 100 times. Means it's like that. If it's 10 times this way, it's 10 times that way. In the measurement, same scale graphic, same lines, x-axis and y-axis. But I could not understand what I was doing there. But because I know little mathematics, in class I was student of mathematics, so I could understand how could I do. So I produced many enlarged prototypes. Photographs. Even my own, I did. My father's, I did. My mother's, I did. Many gods I did, and many leaders, political leaders I did, and then I did sceneries also and all that, just to pass time. And there was a building opposite my shop. I just viewed at that and visited many times and took measurements of that building and put on paper in isometric form. And I did not isometric. I said, I'm just putting this in this paper. And one, oh, you have made isometric of this. You've done isometric of this building. Well, okay, maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to tell you, it is not necessary that in class you are brilliant. Sometimes you are not brilliant in your schooling because of variance of life, because of you are surrounded by certain adverse circumstances which never support you. But it doesn't mean that you cannot do it. That's the point. And it's also true that when you are very intelligent, very bright student in your life of schooling and you thought I should continue, that's also not necessary. Again I say that is only examination, not more than that. If somebody says I'm gold medalist in this school or college, okay, fine, you are gold medalist because at that time you got certain papers which were suitable to you and suitable for you, and you performed in answers. That is only limit, not more than that. If you think you are gold medalist forever, it's not acceptable. It's not that I never go to gold medal. It's not because of that. I was never given any award. Till now, I have not got any award, professionally or otherwise. I have not been recognized by anybody, but I am not upset because my performance is not for award. My performance, first I should be satisfied. No, I satisfy myself. Yes, and that means time I have to think of, cost of performance I have to think of, and you can say quality of my work, which I that don't understand time. Now because I am an engineer, I know how his organization, how his organization works, and they say cost, and you can say time and quality. These are very important factors. This is not all important. These are to some extent considerably importance these factors carry. So in those days I could not understand that way because I didn't know all this, but I knew that if I don't waste time, I can get better. I can do lot. So I learnt my own self that time. Nobody told me that time is very important. Time is important. Time is money, and time is everything. I could understand by my own use of time. Otherwise, I could go to gilli danda playing. I could go to kabaddi playing. I could go to sport garden to waste time. I did not do. My father did not allow me all that. And of course, if my father had allowed, I would not go because I had short of time. And that time, whatever I could get for a study, I used to invest in that. Otherwise, I used to arrange my shop. I have some headache today. So, my dear friends, why I am telling you? I am telling you because this is also a lesson in life. Do not waste your time. That's what I am trying to tell you. You can do wonders if you value time, and if you value time, you can save cost, and if you can save cost, you can spend cost on quality achievements. That is why it is, time leads to cost, and cost leads to quality, and quality leads to superb work. You can say that. Problem nowadays is quality is not given importance, though in papers it is important, very very important. We call quality person, quality engineer, quality doctor, quality professor, quality lecturer, quality professional, quality this and quality that. We call only. But do we measure that? That's the point here. We call so much. This person is quality engineer. This person is quality lecturer. We say that. Or we just please each other. There's a difference. Is someone really quality one? We have to say yes, it is quality one, or we say no because I know him and I have to tell him that you are a quality person, even though one is not quality person. That approach is wrong. I am not calling someone because you are a quality person, because I am your friend or you are my friend. No, that is no relation to that. Quality means your performance should be quality, your actions should be quality based. All actions in life depend on decision making. If I can decide on some information, what I get and what I should do, then it is called efficiency. Or if I need more input and I try to get input and don't waste time on that, even by my own personal efforts I do that, and I make results for I get results. On our final results means intermediate results. That's called efficiency, means to avoid delay on that activity. Everything is delayed because of inactions. Now, means it's different talk. What I'm saying is, we have to understand elementary life. Time wasting, you have to do nothing to waste time, right? You have not to do any specific stress, you have not to do any stress or on your mind to waste time. Only best is don't do anything and sleep. I am tired, I don't want to do it today, tomorrow I'll do, I'm just taking rest. Let me sleep for half an hour more. Let me sleep for half day today. Oh, this work I will do tomorrow. What's there? It's only a work, I can do it 10 minutes. That tendency is, very bad tendency. That tendency means you have no will, you have no desire, you have no lust, you have no dedication, you have no commitment, nothing you have. But because you can afford luxury of wasting time, and you are wasting time. But one thing I tell you, you waste time, no problem. Time will also not care for you, because main problem with time is it doesn't come back. You cannot retrieve your time. That's also true. So what I could learn in my life is that time is very important, and how to schedule your time, that is your expertise on your own, because you know yourself. Nobody can tabulate your time. So it's engineering importance, time. Time is very important factor in engineering or on projects or on design. So whatever you say, whatever you do in life, time has immense consideration and is very imminent. Without that, sometimes you say, I could not sleep because I had that problem, I have that stress in my mind. I could not sleep last night because I was in you can say stress, tension. But had you kept your table, your schedule right, you have done your job in right way, or you could study in time. I think no study is that important, not difficult. No work is that difficult that cannot be done per schedule. So we have to understand schedules also. A schedule of child, a schedule of parent, a schedule of school, a schedule of whatever work you do, in whatever act you participate in your life. You have to schedule out, and scheduling is very important. It looks that it is nothing, but it's very, very important. I tell you, scheduling. It's not necessary you do it on paper. It's not necessary that you write on something. It can be in your mind. And when you do scheduling, you can do it in mind, because in young age, your mind is very active. It's very sharp. It remembers many things, and you can memorize. Of course, in my age, like now, I'm 66. Memory is less, but maturity is more. But at that time, in young age, maturity factor is very zero, you can say very low, and decision making is of course there, and that decision depends on your own parameters. That the decision depends on your own skills, and that's also skill. Time organization is one part of skill. If you know, sometimes you are so good in time organization that every minute is important for you. You say, okay, for 1 hour I study and take rest for 5 or 10 minutes, then I re-study. Or it's now 3 hours, I have studied, now I am very tired, I just go for a walk for 15-20 minutes and come back. That's all part of schedule. Even walking means sometimes concentration on books makes you problematic, and you start drowsy, even 3 hours in studying, I can't study, I want to take rest. But it's part of your schedule. You either allow for rest, allow for walking, or allow for studying something else which gives you entertainment, or watching television or something. It depends on you how you do. That's what I'm saying. Time skills, time or time using skills. I should say time use rather than saying time maintenance or something. Your mind should be busy, and mind is such a powerful tool that you have. It gives you headache as well as it gives you relief. Sometimes you had headache, it's not because of your fatigue, it's because of many other chemistry reasons, like some gas goes into your mind, just now happening with me, and it troubles until it is removed from here. So if students, it's important for students to time out their schedule. Also it's important on higher level for professionals to time out. Every office says you have to work 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day, or nowadays some countries say no, you have to work for 12 hours a day. Depends, means what you accept, but question is, do you have that much work? Part does. If you have to just sit on desk without doing anything, I don't think that is sensible. Yeah, if you have work, you are occupied for 12 hours a day, and I think it's not easy. It's easy to say that I'm working 14 hours a day, but I think it's impractical to work 14 hours a day. It's same thing as I'm sitting, I'm showing you that I'm busy, but I'm not busy actually. Because your body needs some mental as well as physical rest also. Your mind doesn't need rest, but your body needs, because when your mind works, your mind draws energy from your body. That's very important point. You should understand this. Whatever I eat, whatever I consume, if I work my mind, using my mind, energy somehow goes from other parts of body, and my mind remains active. This means my mind shall deactivate some parts of body to some extent, but later on, when mind is very active, it will return back all energies that it got, because when I am resting or when something, my mind is not busy. At that time, my mind is relieved of all the stresses, and whatever is there inside that, it transfers back to your body, and maybe your body renovated also. In engineering, we always value time. In engineering, in contracting, in designing, in whatever acts in engineering, time is very, very important. When you do planning, or we can say we have to control this project, we first parameters, or we can say knowledge areas we consider ourselves, because these are all, we say these are all knowledge areas, how to handle time, how to handle, you can say, cost, how to move on cost so that cost is not escalated, and how to use time. You may call it manage, you can, but I'm saying use time means you have 3 points here: time, cost and quality. How to use time, how to, you can say, keep cost within limits, and how to achieve quality. Quality is achieved, money is controlled, and time is used. So use, control, and achieve. These are main points that I can say, not exclusive points, but main points. If I understand my job, I understand my duty, then I think I do not need any control except self-control. I have to lead myself, I have to propel myself, I have to determine my chart, my actionable route, and I have to move on that route, and I have then to self-assess first what I have done. Is it worth, or it requires movement further, or it requires improvement further? You have to decide, I have to decide, everybody has to decide. We cannot say somebody else will decide. Yes, somebody may decide, may evaluate that further, but first you have to say, yes, I did. Because you know how much time did you spend on that, how much cost you spent on that, and what level of quality you could achieve. It is, you know very well what you expected and what you are getting. These are very small points but very important points, and there are more points on these points, which actually there are 8 or 9 parameters, but these are very important because quality, time and cost relate to others. If your time, you spend more time than what's required, that will increase cost, because in that time you could do something else also, and that something else you could not do because you spend more time on that. So time directly impacts on final results, it impacts on cost, and it impacts on quantity of production. So time, we can say, in engineering, nobody can permit wastage of time. It's very important point. It may be engineering, it may be construction, it may be production, or it may be, you can say, quality, or whatever you can say, wherever output is measured, you lose coefficient of output if you don't use time properly. Then comes cost. Of course, time is related to cost. If more time you spend, means more human resources are spent, and that directly impacts on cost. And of course, your lethargic attitude, your lazy attitude, your ignorance attitude, and sometimes I'm an easygoing person, or I'm a very tough person, I'm very person who until I do this job I cannot sleep. There are so many ways that you can save time, and you can indirectly save cost. And when time and cost are related and proportion, and comes what level of quality I am getting. Of course, you have to control quality all time, but in a duration and with quantification of cost and quantification of time in terms of cost, you can say, is this quality which I am getting worth, or it is underestimated, or it is overestimated. This we can relate by our own system, and where we say, oh, it's optimized, and I think this is optimized and this is best, so that you can say which an average person, a normal person, professional can operate. Maybe I am more efficient, I am very efficient, you are not, or you may be very strong, I am not. Your quality system is very strong in your mind, mine is not. It all depends upon what you can say, what you have to fix in there. Certain scale, or you can say a certain definition of activity that is based on time, cost and quality, that this should be done by a professional at least. So in that position, in that way, in that situation, you can decide what should be output of one. That's very important point. And it depends from individual to individual. Doesn't mean everybody would perform that way, but that is where you can decide payment skills, all skills. That if you perform this much, there must be certain understanding. You have to do this job this much. And once you start that, okay, maybe in beginning you will become you feel like unorganized and I don't know how to do it, but you have to again sequence that in way of schedule, your own schedule, not project schedule. Your schedule, I have to work out of 8 hours, 10 hours, so many hours I have to give to my this kind of work, and other 2 hours I have to give that kind of work, like that. You can proportion or can distribute proportionally your quantum of time to activities, and that's very important. But it's really some can say it's difficult maybe in beginning of shooting something, but when you adapt yourself to this situation, then there's no need even on writing. You can yourself think in mind, okay, I have to use so many hours for this and this and this. So you can say, I am wholly occupied, I have no business, other business, I am fully occupied, and I don't want to take more responsibility. You see, gastric. Well, I'm just trying to explain to you how to schedule on projects. If you can schedule your time, certainly you will schedule all your activities which you perform in a day as a manager or engineer or otherwise. How to do it. They decide so many hours they have to work. They decide on based on their own requirements, that they have certain commitments with the clients, or they have to earn that much, or they want you to give this much back in salary you're getting. So there are many considerations. They think the person is not very smart, or person is not giving that much as expected, so let's enhance timings so that at least we get minimum. So there's can be something. So I don't value 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours in responsible position. Okay, for a position where it's only means hours are important for those means who just do physical work with little mind. For them it's okay, means they can do or think only what they do, nothing else. For them hours are okay, but for communities or for members of engineering, well, I think this doesn't have any sense, because every engineer is separate individual, and what efficiency one has, only that individual knows, or those who use that engineer, they know. So what I am saying is this parameters of time, cost, and these are very important parameters, and we must have a capacity to schedule what we are going to do, and that schedule is very important in construction engineering, in design engineering. Means you have to set a schedule for every subject, every topic, every job which are assigned to you, and that's what is most important. I took tea and then I'm getting a little uneasy, no problem. Let me see what's happening. And once I got hot up, it's a problematic actually. So my dear friends, I would suggest do not be unorganized. First of all, you understand how to organize yourself, or how to bring to yourself your own defined system. Your own defined system, and if you can define your system your way, means I have to use my time in these activities and for so many minutes or hours, and you have to accommodate all your activities pertinent to your job or pertinent to something else in that schedule, and then you have to stand on that schedule. You have to move on this according to what's written, or you have decided yourself. It's for none else to interfere in your schedule, and you can mentally keep it up, no problem. You need on paper, so you mentally keep it up. It's very simple, and then you perform on that. You follow it also. It's not simply that you stand on that and you say I have decided, but you are not following that. This means same thing as undecided or not done. But remember, such situation of scheduling, once you do, it doesn't mean you can't change it. You can change it, but whatever you adopt, whatever you finalize, you have to move on that. That's important. Because until you move on that, you will not even be finding that that's right or wrong. You have to test your own schedule your way and see maybe there's some error, or you overestimated your efficiency, or you underestimated your efficiency. Because neither overestimation nor underestimation worth they won't pay. You have to keep normalized, optimized way, so that your time is optimum, is properly used with rest pause. Because rest pause is also a must. See, that's my guest today. I don't know why. So this is part of engineering, and this is very much important part of executions and projects, that you have to chart out a schedule of whatever project you are given. And that schedule is not your own, it has to be dominated by what scope of work you have. The scope of work you have that you know is defined, and it's not defined, you have to define it yourself. You have to analyze whole project and see what you have to do. That's also a way. Or if it is written clearly, then you have to do that and organize that way. When you do your own, you can do for all. When you do for all, means you know how much you have to do, and then you can say, I have these resources, I have so many people, I have so many machines, and I have so much fund for this project, and we can do it. We can chart out that one. And this is cost flow, and we will get this much at this time, this much at this time, so that our working balance funds move on and on and on. So my dear, I just explained you background because everybody changes, change is technique, automatic technique. Either you change yourself or life shall change you. That's also true. Because system of nature is changing always, all time it changes. You can say system operates, natural system operates, and we change ourselves, and system also works accordingly. Day, night, years, all that, seasonal change, this change, that change. So change is change. And change is always welcome. Maybe it is criticized, but criticism is also a part of change. Those who receive criticism constructively, they move fast forward. They move fast, rapidly. See, I'm getting so much today because of last day, yesterday's problem. I have taken tea, even then I'm in problem. Guest here and there. My only initiative was to talk of contracting companies here today. Yesterday I say contracts, and contracts can be understood only by thinking of how contractors work, how work is done by contractors. That is very important part. If you understand that, it doesn't mean you shall become contractor, but if you understand contracting, you can understand a lot. Because contracting is end product, Contractor means end product. It may be design contract, it may be works contract, or it can be services contract. It can be whatever contract you have. Means there some kind of end product you have to sell, you have to issue, you have to produce, so that that contract is performed, which you made with someone, you entered with someone. Performance of that contract is production. Whatever you produce, that should be delivered. Delivery of products is that one. See, my gas is coming out, I can't stand, I can't walk. Though I have taken bath, hot water bath at 3 o'clock. I keep on talking, even doing this, so that your time is not wasted, because I am saying time is of essence, time is important. And time is your product, time is your asset, and it's up to you if you waste time. I learned this much by my own experience. There was one time I used to think I would not waste a single minute. And I used to do that. I did that. Even now, I do same thing. And I can't sleep sound. You see, if I go to bed at 9 o'clock, I can't sleep. And if I sleep, I say after 1 hour or 1.5 hours, I get up because of pressure of urine. And then I think not more than 2 hours sometime I sleep in one patch. In one stretch I sleep not more than 2 hours, and on an average I sleep about 4 or 5 hours in 24 hours. Sometimes I sleep sitting in chair because of, I don't know why it happens. Now for example, I have some problem here and head. I'm trying to you can say evaporate this gas which is in my mind. Evaporate particle have appeared in, so it is troubling my head. But time is time. Time is my money. You see, those people who are busy, time is very important for them. Those who are not busy, or those who don't want to, or who are lethargic, who don't care for anything, for them, even they get money, they can, you can say bad luck for money with them. That's all I can say. When we schedule out project, it's not simple line work we do, or we say, no, I have given bar charts, you to understand them. Bar charts where we produce, you can say programming, or you can say scheduling. Generally, people don't practically use CPM or PERT. They practically use Gantt chart or bar chart, because it's easy to draw and easy to understand. Even if you are using Primavera or you are using MS Project software, whatever you are using, or you don't use any software, just do it your way. I have seen many people using Excel for scheduling, though it's little time consuming, but it can be done. Means not, you cannot say no. You may say, I am doing dancing at head, right? What I do, I have trouble, You see, this gas is released. When we prepare a schedule, it is not simple line work that I have to draw lines or bars and schedules done. When we prepare a schedule as engineers on some project, schedule cannot be done if you are not studied project. Whole documents you have to study, all documents, and particularly scope of work and contract dates. If you do not understand them before finalizing whatever you think to do, draw, we cannot, means we have to know what work we have to do, civil, electrical, mechanical and all others, quantum of work and size of project. And access to site means sometimes you cannot say I will open all sites, all sectors of sites and start working. That is not done practically. because we have to see ease of working first, ease of accessibility to all areas, and convenience of everything we have to consider. So if somebody says due to some conditions that there are 14 days for you to submit your schedule after work is awarded, they say 14 days or some other number because you are well prepared. This means you are agreed and that you are well prepared, we understand, and you know your project. You know what you are going to do. Yes, that is assertion. There is affirmative action required like this. But do you really understand? Point is that you got documents, volume of documents, you got many volumes, and you have to prepare that schedule for every purpose and for complying with contract conditions. But if you do not study those documents, no one can chart out that schedule. You have to read those documents, you have to understand those documents, you have to understand scope of work, you have to find out days of commencement and days of completion, and then body of contents of that project, all disciplines, what disciplines require, after, and also specifications. After going through all those contents of project, you have to then understand project. And then if you understand project, how this project should be charted out in action for execution, then your mind starts thinking on that. Not only starts thinking, it starts immersing in that hydraulic flow, that is project. I am saying hydraulic because just to explain that there is some flow and there is some pressure on all walls and floor. Very little relief. I don't know what's today problem with me. Maybe I could not sleep properly. So schedule is first skill that you have to prove. It is first skill. It takes time. It's not 1 hour job. It's not 1 hour job. But project requirement is that you should know it beforehand. Means you have only 14 days, for example, or more maybe, but you do not have knowledge of project. No client expects that. Your company should know what you have to do. Okay, you can take your time, 4 days, 5 days, and study whole project. I am not going to say that you study very details of project, but at least what you have to do, so that you can decide which areas you have to attack first. You know that which areas of project you have to attack first. This is not gun attack, this is not cannons attack, and this is not bombarding as well. This is nothing as such. Means circulation of work is easy of work, means how to access, how to circulate on site, how to allow everybody to stay there, how to have good movement of vehicles. So all that information you'll get from that project and from location of project. And I think it will not take much time quantities are already available, you don't worry about that. Even if there's an error of few percentage, that can be adjusted as far as project is schedule is concerned. You can table out all quantities, how many quantities are there, cubic meter of concrete or other one, and then you know what you have to do from that detail. What is duration of project and what duration you want to allow to structural work. That's not a difficult thing, because if some project is X, or you say 3 years, for example, is 3 years project, and you think what's position of structural members, how many members are expected, what services, all that, where you have to keep in one part in your mind and say, okay, this is my structural work, should be done in so many days, 50% time, 60% time, 70% time, depending on how fast you can do. So that is your ground making start. Whatever you do, because without structures, again I say, nothing is going to happen. And structure takes time, because it's civil engineering structure, it's not something else, which involves concrete, steel, pre-stress, and structural steel, like that. So you have to understand percentage of cost and percentage of activities, quantum of activities on that project. Once you have that in mind, then you can say, okay, so many percentage of time or so many months I reserve for this structure. You reserve for the structure. And what components you have to cost is big or small components, or you can wait for some time. So you have to finalize your schedule based on your assessment of quantification. Maybe at that time you could not quantify everything, but at least something you could do. I say, I have fixed this quantity of RCC, I know this is how much and this will take this much time, and I allowed this, keeping abreast all other factors, handing over factors, maintenance factors, and other disciplines to work in. Because no discipline is independent in sequence. All dependents, all sequences move most often in parallel, except when there's a problem. So you have quantified time now. Your understanding of project has quantified minimum time for structure, and that is where your skill is valuable. But you have to keep all factors in mind, concreting factor, preparatory work factors, all factors you have to keep in mind, and then you can say, this is my time limits for structural work. And then you can follow all others, because that is control point. You have decided, in this period I have to do this much structure. So whatever coming in there in between and away, it will be proportionally done. I don't know what's happening today to me. I was scheduling and I'm on schedule now. This is part of my schedule. Sorry, gentlemen, what to do? I actually either stop video or you have to bear all this because I'm not feeling happy. Happy, I mean to say, I want to talk, but because of this gastric, I don't know what I ate bad yesterday. So your concrete or your structural time period is done, and I think you can move in parallel all other activities of your project, which comes before and which comes after concrete. And it is not big deal. You can easily, in consultation with your other engineers who are services engineers or subcontracting engineers, what they expect you, how much time they want to spend on that, you can take information from them and fix with floors. With all floors, you can fix all their master activities, and that is way how scheduling is done. And then we have to support this schedule by human resources, by equipments in each discipline, and then you have to club all these items together, and of course you have to review it before giving to someone else for final approval. I think that's point here on my head is problematic, This point is very problematic. Sorry, I'm feeling unease. I think many minutes I wasted. So schedule, you have to finish that way because route you have decided, and then others requirement you can fit in. That's part of work schedule. Then you have to accordingly fix workforce requirement in same pattern, because already you have you can say start and end of other disciplines, which you know that these are right or not. And once you have decided that durations of subdivisions of, or you can say civil, electrical, mechanical, structure, other one, you can say decoration and place for your schedule is preliminary done. You have even worked out workforce. Only left is equipment. So I have imagined my schedule is ready. Only I have to work out resources such as machines or other requirements or materials requirement. I have to schedule out when shall I need this much material. You have to club your schedule to budget better. Because this program is, of course, this master program, level 1 program. You have to develop many programs, but in these bar charts, if you think that you can provide costs or whatever code your company is using of those, you can provide here. Generally, you provide that. It will ease you for work of car, gypsy. This is how to think. You have to revise your schedule, you have to review it, and you have to then make another schedules that may be, 3-month schedules, or that may be level 2 schedule, you can say, discipline wise, or level 3 or level 4, like that. You can go up to level 5. These schedules are not simple schedules or free schedule that you care about them or don't care about them. You have to care about them. Everybody has to care about them once these are approved. Because schedule is also to some extent a part of contract. Because this gives flow of work, how you want to move on site, how you want to do site, how to expedite this, and this schedules, if it's real one, shall tell you where you should be expediting. Life in engineering is unbecoming if you do not understand yourself. Don't imitate others. Don't think others would teach you, others will guide you. They can guide to some extent, not all extent. Efforts you have to do, risks you have to share. It's your own work. You think that it's not somebody else's work, and that is where main point lies in. Scheduling is one part, that is time plan. It is, you can say, it's a time plan, or people call it timeline plan. I don't know what they call it. Whatever they call it, doesn't matter. Your schedule should tell everybody that project is going to complete like this physically. Yes, there will be improvements on this depending on performance, but all this master schedule shall all us that this is what is happening. I think that we walk a little better. Can I walk? I don't know. I should, so that some if I schedule out correctly, or even erroneously, I say no, this is not right. This is not right step. There's some error. Somebody can tell me, or I can understand myself. It depends. Because project is known, we know project is this, but only difficulty comes how we sequence out. Which area we have to take in priority, which area we have not to take in priority. All that depends on scheduling, and that is very important point everywhere. Really important point, that is how we can do that. Everybody has his own system, his own approach, his own style. Nobody can follow. You have to, if I give this schedule charting work to many, they will make a schedule. I am not saying they will not make. Everybody shall make schedule, but according to their own thinking, their own style, their own work experience, and what they can, which area they prefer, until this is prioritized in contract itself. That point is very important point. But importance of schedule or schedule is very immense. It cannot be, you can say, cannot be taken for granted. It cannot be taken for granted, otherwise this has to be respected by everybody once you decide. Yes, there can be changes, there can be variations depending on quantity of work or time factor, depending upon many reasons. That reasons are totally different. There can be side movement of work more than expected, or it can be less than expected, but schedule must be complied with. We generally say progress of site is in line to schedule. That should always be there. It can be ahead, of course, it can be ahead, but lagging behind is not welcome. Lagging behind plan or lagging behind line, that's not welcome in construction projects. Reasons are that if you delay a lot, some delay, fine, people accept that, just okay, some delay. Recoverable delay, you can say. Recoverable delay, not uncontrolled delay, you can say. Okay, this delay is recoverable, we can recover this, no problem. And that is some percentages only. You cannot say you are delayed by 25% progress or 30% progress, you are behind, and you can say, I will do it immediately. Well, I think that shall never be done. So we have to be very much intelligent in that way. From beginning itself, I still remember we had a project. It was 1.5 years duration, or very small in look. And that client said, don't think that you will be able to do it, and don't waste time. Well, time is enough. Even then, you have enough money and you waste it. That shall not be. That should not be. So some people teach you like that. Sometimes you have plenty of time, but you do not use that time. You think that we will have plenty of time and we take it easy, so it shall be done. But when you do that, you find some item is time consuming. Some procurement takes a lot of time, and everything is gone in that case. So my dear friends, what I mean to say is everything is not done way it should be done. If you understand what way it should be done, well, I think that's best answer. You understand what way it should be done, and I think that's right approach. You may have your own approaches. Your client would have different approach. Your company may like some other approach. But ultimately you are responsible. If there is no prioritized condition, you do your way and prove that you are right. Because schedule is only for paperwork. The actual schedule is different. Particularly day-to-day schedule, very, very different. Because you schedule out something and you find on the next day that 20% people didn't come to site. So what shall the schedule do? You decide something and you say material is delayed, material hasn't come. Or concrete is delayed, we want you to plan this slab today, 400 cubic meter, 500 cubic meters, but there's a problem from batching plant. We are not getting in time concrete. Some problem. Or our quantity is very small today. Batching plant says, oh, I won't give in daytime because I have some other assignment. I have some other order. You accept some other parallel schedule or replacement of this. So whole day is wasted because your preparatory works are over and you cannot follow other works and concrete is held up. So even if one day is wasted, you have to you can say re-engage your workers somewhere else if you have, otherwise it causes some issue of cost and time. These points happen. However good you are in planning, however good you are in scheduling, however good you are in follow-up, however good you are, but these points do happen. Means I'm not saying every time it happens sometimes. And when you have big concrete, they may prefer you first and then hold others. This also happens. In that case, you may save time also if you are ready. Therefore, I would say scheduling is your baby. You have to answer questions when questions are projectile, or you can say projected to you. Why you have taken this way, why you have taken up to this time, this bar, why you have taken this, there's been so many questions. And why are you using this machine, why are you using so many resources, are these resources over required or these are under required, are these suitable for this, can you all, or you will at this stage I think you have to change this time, you will take more resources here. Means there can be whatever debate, whatever argument, whatever, and you may accept that also. Doesn't matter. Acceptance is also a part, rejection is also a part, both are there. Because ultimately you concentrated on that, no one else concentrated. And that concentration is very important. You concentrated on that, you know what you are going to do, you know what is project, you know what is activity, you know what time you have taken into that way, and you know what quality you are going to produce. That is where you have to be smart. And if you don't do that, you miss something. Because you have confidence, you have done it, no one has done it in your place, so you know much better than everybody else. You know much better than everybody else. Either stick to that, no, it's my responsibility, I am doing this, I will do that. That much capacity you should have. That much capacity you should have. And that is called engineer. You are engineer doesn't mean you are only engineer, you are operating engineer. You are engineer in terms of disciplines, you are engineer in terms of lead, you are engineer in terms of organization, you are engineer in terms of responsibility. You are having many profiles of responsibility. That's what it is. You have your own way, your method, but everybody knows about them. Of course, this is your device. It should be fit in. It should be suitable. You have to do it. Yes, in beginning you may be nervous, but time makes you perfect. That is what is required. Sometimes it happens that you face some problems. It happens. But once you know others, how other people deal with you and how you deal with them, how many percent time they cooperate, how many percent time they reject, because they are also in business of supplying concrete, business of providing material. They also do have their priorities, and you are also one of priority. So it is experience that whereas the quantity is more, you are extended cooperation because of business point of view. And where quantity is the small one, then something is it happens, because if you are dealing with major project, mass project, mega project, where thousands cubic meter concrete you have to pour, or some cases lakhs cubic meter or more, which means every time you order for 100 cubic meter, 50 cubic meter, 200 cubic meter, 500 cubic meter, or sometime you order 6 cubic meter, 4 cubic meter, 2 cubic meter. There can be no uniformity to decide in that basis. It's very important. So my dear, scheduling I am saying is, my submission to you is that scheduling or scheduling or charting out your scheme of work is not simply drawing board or computer or line, but calculations in your mind. Calculations, that's important. You may use whatever software, whatever interlinks you use, whatever advices you get, but ultimately you have to decide yourself. Time period and optimum use of resources and real speed, not fictionary speed, real speed. Sometimes you feel nothing is happening on project. It seems that nothing is happening in project, but it doesn't mean work is not going on. And sometimes you think, oh, it's very fast, work is going on, so much voice, so much sound on site, hammering sound, machine sound, this and that. But it doesn't matter, it's all activities. All activities. Excavation, say example, going on. Without excavation you can't do anything. So it is activity, though quantum may not be, or cost may not be that much. But activity wise, it's very important, because without excavation you cannot do anything. What I should say, construction engineering, it says that I am not easy. Construction engineering says I am difficult. If you understand me, then I help you. And if you don't understand me, don't fight with me. I will do my way. I know how I have to move. I know I will guide you. Again, same thing I am telling. In beginning, you have to produce your baby, so the baby starts working. And then you have to leave it to baby. The baby tell you what to do, what not to do. As I said, in drying case, you start drying. But at one stage, drying speaks and you have to keep silent. Drying would say, do it like this. There's no other way out, and you have to do like that. That is beauty of engineering. That is beauty of your work, that you have to take advice from work itself rather than from someone else, and that is called reality of life. When you are working on site as in charge, site tells you where you can work, where you cannot work. Because just sitting in office and imagining, and I will take here, I will take there, and depending on planners who don't have experience of site. But when you go to site, you know what route you have, can you work in this area or you cannot work in this area, and you can simplify your work. And sometimes you want to start some work, but site areas don't allow you to do that. So I say, it's not simply theoretical work. No, it's not theoretical. It is real work, because after all it's production, manufacturing. You may say, what you are talking about manufacturing? Yes, it is manufacturing, it's production, something you are producing on site. It's not factory. You procure material, put in machine and get done. It's site work. If you have space, sometimes you find sites so congested that materials and materials and materials, all places, and you have no place to work. This means your procurement management, procurement organization, procurement steps are irrelevant, are erroneous. You have just pool of material which cannot be consumed, and it is occupied space of your site. And that is also called stupidity. That's called stupidity. I still remember there was a tender in Abu Dhabi. Long back I was there. It was a big tender, I think big project, building project. And you know, when this building project, RCC and block work, and there was a specification I gone through that after casting a block, you have to cure it for so many days, and you can remove it after 28 days of casting. I of course was reading that, but I was not convinced with this clause in specification, provision specifications. I asked in charge of that tender, and who was leading that, I'm not happy with this clause. I'm not happy with this specification provision. He said, no, nothing is wrong. It's okay, fine. No, I'm not. I made a question. Why consultant or why whoever is in charge, engineer, wants to hold this material in factory for 28 days or on site on 28 days? If it's procured, is brought to site, what is the reason that I should hold for 28 days just to check its strength? We'll do it earlier. What's wrong with that? See, sometimes you have to think and raise questions yourself. Everything is written. It doesn't mean this is God's words. You know, people are expert in copying paste these days. Copying paste is a technology that has destroyed thinking power. Okay, take that reference. Everybody say, okay, go to that file and take that reference. And you think what references there is right, don't investigate on that. Right? Go to that project, copy and paste all items. It happens. Means you have to make pages, volumes of pages, without including your input in that. Your input of thinking. That is something you should not do. Okay, copying paste is not a problem. You can copy paste, but you read first. You read and think whether or not it suits you on this project. I cannot block my site with materials that cannot be used immediately. Immediately doesn't mean immediate hour. It means in due process. Suppose I got delivery of materials and that material is to be used after 3 months or 6 months. Then I am foolish to get it so early. First of all, my money is blocked. Second problem is money is forget money. Second problem is that you have to protect that material from site actions. That is worrisome. And if in case that material is very heavy, what do you do? I still remember one project where I saw equipments of AC, chillers, air handling units, package units like that, or other pumps were, they just lied on that site for many years, I think maybe more than 2-3 years. In such a period, even warranty goes away. What is the purpose of planning? If your material cannot be stationed, it cannot be commissioned, and you just order it for gain of your bills from okay, you will get your bills, okay, but what is use of getting it so advanced? All right, 3 months priority, 2 months priority, 1 month priority, fine, that's okay, but many can say 2-year priority, why? So project cannot be, you can say, captured like this. I should say that. Because it stops, first of all, it defects your circulation area. It stops you from movement, and you cannot start all sites, all areas of work. So we have to be very smart in selecting our working scope on site. Scope is in contract we have to do, but working scope is something which you have to move every day for a couple of weeks or month. Once you start some activity, maybe one building or some other part of work, it will take of course few weeks and sometimes in few months. So you have to be busy there. So during that period, if you have suppose sometimes shortage of resources and sometimes you have redundant resources, it can happen on every site. So you need certain area, free area where you can shift those resources, human resources and equipment, so that at least something can be started, something new which was not started yet, part of project, and you can do that. There should be some flexible planning, even though it's not on record, it's not in time has not come, but you can say we can start that. So scheduling is something very different from theoretical viewpoint. It depends on actual real status of progress of project, and it tests your capability. It tests engineer's capability, site engineer's capability, or project manager's capability, what they do, how they think, how far schedule works, or can they handle such situation where wastage of resources can be prevented. Because if your resources are redundant, you have to pay for them, but they are redundant, it's not their fault. So I can say that we have to be careful about that, and not only careful but also smart enough to utilize them properly and optimally. That is main point in planning, that planning or scheduling is not very hard and fast. It can be altered, it should be flexible, it should be sustainable, and it should be cost monitored, it should be time monitored, and it should be quality monitored, and it should be understood well. It should not disturb, it should not impact on adversely your milestones achievement. Yes, if you can achieve milestones in advance, fine, there's no problem. If your milestones are delayed because you never concentrate on project activities all over, then I think you are a bad guy. Engineering means situation, understand situation. Engineering is only field, construction engineering, where you can change during project time. I'm not saying design change, I'm saying procedures, or how to take up, how to attack, how to do. All these points we should. Let me sit now for some time, because I got a little relaxed now. My stretching leg was problem, so I now sit down for a few minutes and stand again. This is, I think, only way for me. My friends, excuse me, I have trouble, but I still want to be active despite my trouble, because sluggishness is no meaning in life. When I die, I should not say that I was idiot, though I am. I am little idiot, my friends, don't worry. That idiotic is acceptable. You can call me, and you should laugh on yourself. That is also demand of life, because mind should be active, that's most important. Body and mind are related, and I can say your body and mind are related to project. See, now I sit for a few minutes and then stand again, and meanwhile, what is status? Oh my God, what to do? Actually, I wanted to share document with you today, but I thought, no, let me continue about contracting. It's more important. Before I share document of FIDIC with you and discuss on that, I've already discussed, but because now mind is different, sometimes thoughts come in mind automatically during talk. So I only thought just to talk about contracting because it doesn't mean that I have been in contracting also. But contracting is very important profession. If you really understand contracting, you will like it. Believe me, it is better than consulting and it's better than designing. Design is also a contract, but it's better than design if you talk of contracting in execution or in construction, you can say. And particularly civil contracting, because civil means headache. Civil means headache. Mechanical is no headache. Electrical is no headache because we are more inclined toward designs and toward working drawings and toward workshop drawings and shop drawings, and you can say quantification, because whatever material you select for your project in electrical engineering, in HVAC engineering, in elevator engineering or wherever, you are at liberty to select what material, and consultant is also at liberty to approve whatever they say, as far as or to an extent your provisions and specifications and standards are complied with. There is a comfort, there is you can say benefit in electromechanical, that they are not going to manufacture anything on site. That's only positive point. Electrical person gets everything delivered ready-made or made on order. Same way, HVAC engineer, or you can say mechanical engineer, they have to just give requirements and they get machine delivered. Of course, it takes time for manufacturing, but that's headache of manufacturer, not of engineers. So when you get mechanical and electrical, you can say items delivered, material delivered to site, these are just to be installed, that's all. It may be pumping, centrifugal pump, it may be chillers, it may be air renew units, it may be package units, electrical, it may be transformer, switchgear, trunking or whatever, small, big or whatever items. The cost is much higher than civil items, but time on activity is not more important except placing order for procurement that time. And that can be done only after your materials are approved. In civil, word is different, complete different. You cannot say yes, you can say I will get ready-mix concrete. But you will get ready-mix concrete only, you will not get, hardened concrete. So you can install directly. It's not going to happen. In cast in situ projects, you only can get ready-mix concrete, maximum benefit is that's all. But that ready-mix requires care immediate to be placed. And if you don't place, then people say, are you fool? You do not know engineering. Right? That's also true. I know engineering. I know setting time of concrete. So before getting that item, I have to be ready in all respects so that it doesn't delay and it is placed in its position. That's why I say planning of civil items is actually real planning, where you have to pre-plan what I want to do and you have to do. We have to do. Sometimes it is experience that helps you, not just everything in planning. And you don't even care for schedule at that time. Okay, no problem, we do this. So civil engineering items are actually difficult. Difficult in a sense that This required time of manufacture, time of execution, time of mixing material, time of maximum materials are few only during structural engineering work. On sites, very few materials are required. Not even bricks are required or blockworks are required. Something is required, but very few items. But quantity of that item and how much you can do one time, these are all different. Means you have to understand technology first. Only then you can start concreting. If you don't understand technology, you will do concrete, but that won't serve purpose. That would be substandard concrete. That would be substandard concrete. Like, what to do? When there were no batching plants, no central mixing plants, in those days they were, but not in excess of everybody. Companies had some plants or somebody has plants, but everybody has plants on site on big projects. You install your batching plant and you are responsible for your own concrete. This could happen, or when there was no site was small, you can't afford batching plant and you don't have any source of batching plant nearby. What to do then? Then you use your mixer. That's all. Calibrated mixer. Way batching, you can say. And that also is then, even if you have to produce you need 1 cubic meter concrete, 2 cubic meter concrete, or even 100 cubic meter, 200 cubic meter, and you can't, you have to use your mixers, and you need this way mixer. Of course, the standby arrangements of vibrators and a mixer. I've done it many times. I can say many times I used mixer, and also in overseas countries. Can say we did it. I don't repent on that. We did it because there was no other way out. You were supposed to do. See, this is a problem. My God, what you will think? I'm crazy. See, I'm crazy. I'm doing this in public. What to do? I have helpless. Some videos on. It's live. I can't help it. It's my body. What to do? But planning continues. Don't worry. Planning continues. Don't worry about that. I will not stop. So, structural part of project is very important for you. Being engineer, being a structural engineer or site engineer, it is very important for you. If you can manage, if you can organize this, I think headache of project is over. If your structure is done well, duly coordinated with all disciplines, that's your job. And this point must be included in your program about coordination. Though it's not that much, but coordination, engineering is very important, because time can be managed only by coordination. Time can be controlled or can be maintained by coordination method. Time and cost. Don't know what's happening really. You are a master of your scheduling. You have done it, and you have allotted resources all resources, machine and equipment in something else, that also you allot it to this one. And you are following that also. Well, I don't think that you shall meet any problem. No problem. I'm sorry. Your schedule shall lead you and your staff. So far, you are father of that schedule because you produce that schedule. But just like father also withdraws from some responsibility when life moves on. So there are various controls after you. There is time control people and costing people and other people. Scheduling is projectiling, to be very frank. If you schedule right and you have resources, you can project your European piano. little lazy, little sorry, general, do, but I want to talk also. Excuse me, what to do? Profession is very important part of life. It may pay you, it may not pay you, that is different. But profession must be maintained. Professional rules must be maintained. Requirements must be produced, must be maintained, must be evaluated properly. And if we don't do that, we miss a lot. What I can say that construction world is very advanced, very efficient, but requires very much control. We get materials just saying it is patented one, it is duration one, and your donation is valid, and you are also protect. Sometimes we want to keep and make site itself dirty pot. You keep throwing all waste on that and keep site in bad order, untidy state, or keep it fully clarified. Construction should never stop if you have budget, but it generally stops. Budget is given to you, talking doesn't give you concrete work. You have to work, that's all only way. You have to keep in mind all sectors people. Your objectives are many on projects. Many objectives you have to achieve. Your time is also fixed and you have to maintain that. Of course, it's not so simple. Just, we have many ways to evaluate and resolve our issues. Those ways are very clear to everybody. Surprising, really surprising. How to move, how to move down, how to move up, really surprising. Where we are in that stage of surprise, we have to be very careful because one error in plan or one error on site can delay, can jeopardize every project. And engineer should be able to realize the fact that no wrong takes can be included in a project schedule. It's very difficult to recover when there's loss of take time. And only that sequence of activities are very important point on your schedule. All sequences must be carefully analyzed, carefully understood. Scheduling of activities for temporary. We have already discussed about main points of concrete and others that we will handle separately. What we are discussing about plan. Today I am feeling a little unbecoming. Excuse me, no problem, but I was not expecting that I am getting very inefficient today. Mm. Please excuse me for a little slow down. Yes. Uh, Not well, not well. Still, I don't know what's happening today. Act of wasting is not acceptable. Not acceptable. Act of utilization of material is important. You can't waste time, you can't waste material, because material waste means cost and time are waste. Mhm. It's a good exposure, very important. I don't know what to do. 6:19. All right. You may say that I'm wasting your time. That's right, I'm wasting your time. Schedule, schedule, you can vary, of course, but you have to follow it to reach your milestone. Your schedule one time becomes your own teacher. They all refer to schedule, and schedule has to tell also how many percent work he has done. Life is not what I think and you think. Life is dominated by our world of activities, and every activity is measured, is given value, and we say that so much activity have been progressed and so many percentages actually are still lagging behind. And if you know nature of that lagging behind, I I want to do project, and quantity of project is, each item is very time consuming. That must be done. You cannot depend on BOP quantities. You cannot do anything. When we are in dream of work, you are responsible for accuracy of work, quality of work, quantity, and curing gap. Where other is not in the present mood. Your owner wanted something to be done very fast, so that you start using that. When there is a restriction to your access to some part of site, it's your job to resolve it. How to resolve is that's not here to describe, because that the site plan is not available. But we have to keep an arch, as I said before, keep an eye on one garden. Items working. This really is very difficult talk today for me because of physical problem. I'll I'll manage it later. No problem. Let me go for 5 minutes. Better to care for birds. Excuse me. I'll go for 5 minutes and come back. What to do? People have to suffer. Everybody has to suffer if project suffers. Sorry gentlemen, क्या करूँ मैं बताइए. Problem is always there. Life is that. If you bear with me, it's fine. If you bear with me, it's fine. It's really wonderful that people bear. There was a time that I was so confident about everything. I was confident about my statements, about my determination of everything. But health always, health never remains constant, and when you have impact on your health, I think it impacts everywhere. Though I'm lucky that I'm still having good mind. Of course, my body has changed. You can say my walking style has changed. My strength has changed, but my will has not changed. Actually, truly speaking, it's personal. Though I'm telling you that I'm no will to live anymore, but I don't know what is the purpose of my living. Am I serving some purpose of life? I am now professionless, I am healthless, but still I don't want to live, in fact, and I don't want to commit suicide as well, because I am under test. I am under Almighty's test. Though it's not age of test, I am now going to complete 66 years in a couple of days. Today is 21st January 2021 and 30th January. 30 January is my birthday. I shall complete 66 years on that day. On 29th January and 30th shall start of my, that shall be first day of my running 67 years. Itself, why you expect 150 years? I think 60 is enough. I think I'm living bonus life. I can say that I lived 6 years of bonus life. 60 is okay. You may live up to 200 years, that is different, but active life, or you can say dynamic life, where mind is very strong. Of course, mind is still strong and it shall remain strong, but mind alone is not sufficient if you have to live properly. You need good health as well as you need good money. Good money, I mean to say money that is enough for your survival. Just like we say cost, time and quality, these must apply to your life also. Cost, time and quality. If you are 80 years, 90 years and your body is not qualitative, it doesn't mean anything. You are in bed, you are not solidly living, you are facing medical problems, health problems. Your mind may not be in line to your requirement, because mind gets energy only from body or mind. If body is not supplying energy to mind and mind is not reciprocating that processed energy to your body again, then there you feel some defect, the circuit is not complete. So I apply all this to my life also. I was used to walk every day, just I'm telling you, means in personal level. I wanted to remain healthy throughout my life because luckily I have been civil engineer, and that too many years of my life I spent on sites, and that too in deserts. I was fortunate to enjoy desert life, desert in Arab, desert like Arab world or Africa, North African country like Libya, which is deep desert, Iraq, which is also deep desert, and UAE state like Abu Dhabi, which is also deep desert. So I was very happy in desert, to be very frank. Of course, food was not a problem, and clothing was also not a problem. Problem was nothing except that you have to work. And there you don't see any society, any city life, any social, yeah, you can say. Means you have to work and you have to learn. Sleeping is not a problem because 4-5 hours are adequate for sleeping. Usually it's my schedule that go to bed maximum 8:30 to 9. I am happy if I go to bed between up to 9 o'clock or 9 p.m. That's my desire always when I was, of course I'm not talking of daily staying, but when I am in mood of professionalism, I like to get up early morning. It's not because it's good or bad, not that reason. Means it's better to get up early morning because first of all it's peaceful, and you have, of course, taking bath, passing urine, passing toilet, and you can say taking breakfast, of course, some breakfast, you're fresh, your efficiency level, you can say, can be raised, your active cells are silent, and you have complete rehauling of your body early morning time, that you may say you may get up at 2 o'clock, sometimes 1:30. You will be surprised that why is talking all this. When we sleep, when we get up 1:30 or 2, I say you get up early, you sleep early morning. I'm sorry, you sleep early night, not late night. And I think you start sleeping maybe after 2, after post 12. And unfortunately, post 12 I try to get up. This was my desert life, because if you sleep late, what you want to do after 9 o'clock, post 9 o'clock, up to 12 o'clock, then you can do in morning time. You have your computer, you have your homework, or you can go to job if you have a car, or if you can walk to job, if you're on job, you're stationed job, no problem then. You start around 4 o'clock, if you get up early, 4 to 5, 4 to 6, 4 to 7, 2-3 hours, I think, if you devote to work, yes, you shall do wonders in that, because whole day work, which won't be otherwise very smooth due to so many disturbances, interruptions, will be able to do in those early hours. So I used to do all my pending correspondences, quantifications, and whatever I thought was where I was exclusively required my concentration on those items. Means concentration is very important in many items. For example, correspondence work requires concentration. You can say quantification requires concentrations, or you can say there are many other topics where only your attention is required, not attention of others. But during early morning hours or during other hours, when you do this work in those hours, you certainly shall be interrupted all time, and that interruption can impact on your concentration building. And engineering is such a field where concentration is very important. You may find that people are voice inside, they're raising, shouting, all that. What do you mean of concentration? It's okay to create this unit concentration, to create such an environment during activities, means voices and people run here and there. You have to be ready for that. And that readiness comes from your concentration, that you concentrate so that people are not concentrating, or everybody is concentrating for its own scope of responsibility. Sometimes concentration of many scope of responsibility also leads to such environment such scenarios. We have to understand this mind, because your concentration, it may be silent or it may be tacit, gives rise to others' concentration. If you don't concentrate, they don't concentrate. They can't concentrate. Concentration doesn't mean what you think about concentration. Concentration is you have to focus on your job, you have to focus on your activities. And engineering is that field where concentration is very important, even if you work in designs or you work in planning or elsewhere. Concentration, attention is expected, is required. You can't move without concentration. That is the role of concentration. And if you can do that, I think you are most lucky person. You are most lucky in a sense that you are dealing with that. Easy to say sometimes, but very uneasy to do. You may not believe. I never even used to go to walking. I mean to say to just enjoying life on holidays, just like weekends. Probably Friday there in those countries. All my colleagues, my juniors, all they had to move out using company vehicles to nearby areas where 200, 300 kilometers, even more than that. For example, those living in that area of desert used to go to Dubai, and some other areas, some goes to some other cities. That those staying in desert area of Qatar used to go to Doha, like that. And it was permissible company wise, because people concentrate, work for 6 days, they must relax also. After, say, all used to run in evening of that weekend, leaving aside mess food, and they used to go to their relatives. Well, it was kind of a rush, that something special they were waiting for, that weekly or whenever there was an opportunity to go. It was kind of pleasure opportunities for them, but for me it was not pleasure opportunities. I cannot rest, I cannot enjoy. It is out of my dictionary, it's out of my soul. I cannot enjoy life in a way they want to enjoy. My enjoying style is very different, requirement is very different. Until, see, by chance I'm not well today, early morning now, well in the sense there's some headache. But if I am well, I never like to waste time. Yes, you can relax sometimes in between. But I'm having a bad habit, you can say, you may call a good habit or no, but it's bad habit that I want to invest, I want to concentrate on schools of thought for work. Job of engineer is to do, of course, planning is there, but planning doesn't mean you are slave of planning. Planning is for sake of contracts. It is a requirement of contract, it's a requirement of people. Planning document is created because people forget everything. But those people who don't forget, they know everything about project. One day or other you will know it, because after all, it will take couple of days for you to go through a complete project, and then you can say, I know it. Once you know project, then I don't think you least bother about planning as an individual. Yes, it is for those it was made, but you made it, so you don't worry about that. Everything is in your mind. Those you can say consultants or your seniors or those others who deal with it directly, they may refer it from time to time, but I have seen people least bother about schedules. They say whatever we have, whatever resources we have, limited resources or unlimited resources, we know and we will use that for this project. Ultimate gain is that, though it's not done in a way, schedule is given, but it is done in a way it should have been done. Because when we schedule, we don't have complete information of resource availability, but when we leave this world, we really know what is resource availability. That point is of immense interest, and we should care about that. So my habit is different. I focus on jobs, and I think I have done too much work on sketches. Yeah, right. So my approach is ultimately, you can say, not very common approach. This is approach of drastic people. My scheduling time, my scheduling question is very easy, and scheduling is not a problem as far as you know how to move it. Only point arises because when somebody dies, at that time is that person, was that the activity of person placed in that schedule. Sometimes each activity cannot be placed, and we can say, okay, not in his schedule, in 15 line program it is given. You can say magnanimously or professionally, you have to think sometimes in a positive way and sometimes in a destructive way also. Destructive doesn't mean physical destruction. I'm talking destruction is destruction of past, destruction of what happened, you remember. Because somebody wrote a self photo of Kalika and said, Kalika will stop it. So my question here is, how far can we operate on plants? You see, I think it's now 6:50. 6:50. Today I am little relaxed in talking. Don't take it otherwise. Because contract is such, scheduling is such, and scheduling means it relates to schedules of equipment and schedules of material as well as schedule of workforce, crew. And these are all very important, and this schedules also gives you various stages of structure of building. When can you start other activities like first fix of air conditioning or HVAC and first fix of normal supplies from wet areas and other areas. Once you have that schedule with you and you understand that, and by chance there is some issue with contract or with that contractor, and then it says, who are you? Will find out you. Or you may say that my mind because of this accident, whatever you can say, but it's all part of engineering game. You have to move accordingly. And if you don't move, then you will be moved, you know. You will be moved. You remember, only those engineers who keep moving ahead based on all these parameters of quality, cost and time, they keep leading all time. They keep leading all time, and they always get rising responsibility. It's not simple, this project or that project means they consider, companies consider them that these people are leaders in their field. You can lead yourself faster than others. It is not alone leadership, it is, you can say, your own workmanship. The workmanship applies, people generally think that's for low profile people, but I say workmanship applies to everybody. My work as engineer has vast applications, so my workmanship should also be very commonly defined. That relates to me. For example, you can say work here is today, so he can do that much. Or today. Going back to 30 page. As I said, engineering relates to money, time, and your skills. You can exempt anything from your responsibility, you can take anything into your responsibility, but project doesn't change anything until it is deleted or omitted or added. What is required has to be done. I still remember meaning of contract by someone. That guy used to say, "You're talking physically, why that donkey is there? You are." Sometimes your value is down, sometimes your value is up. It fluctuates because of efficiency, because of people know you or don't know you. But contract is contract. Remember, you are a contract in charge in your company, you are in charge of a project, and that project may die soon. Yes, I want to tell you this, but contractor means it's a risk. And what is the responsibility of contractor? Yes. Mhm. If you have a chance to contract yourself, can you contract? Remember, contract means you have to do that. And if you cannot do, you shall become a problem in yourself. Contract is not what you think it's document. No, it's not document. It's a commitment. Document is there, but it is a commitment that you have to do. Points in this video. Contract once entered cannot be exited, remember. Once entered, you cannot nullify it. You cannot declare yourself that it's void until both parties declare together. Because it is interest of many. And if you are sick, you cannot support recovery. Contract has to be done. It is profitable or it's not profitable, that is out of question. In past, I used to get some grams with me for eating while working, while doing something that I should feed in. Because sometimes you need energy. Today I have nothing with me, so I am a little lazy. If I have a cup of tea, I think it will be better, but it's not working. I am alone here. No problem. I took it and I'll go back down now and drink after some time. But that's not issue here. When I say contract is there, means you have to do it. That's all. One point answer. That's all. If you cannot do it, you will be punished. That's all. You will be damaged. That's all. You will defame. That's all. You will become irreliable. That's all. So, profit or loss, reputation or reputation, contracts must be performed. Performance of contract is very important because you have to, at end of contract, give a report of performance to your client or to employer through engineer. This is what we have done, and this is where we are to be paid, and this is my payment. If you can put summary in the detail, project has to be performed, contract has to be performed qualitatively, cost-wise, time-wise, everything. That is what you have to agree. You must agree. You must do, and if you don't do, you will be in trouble. You shall be in trouble, and more on top of this is that it is not only you who shall be trapped in contractually, legally all over the world. Your heritage means if you are a family member, you have your survivors, your children, all shall be liable on contract. Therefore, contract is very, very superb item financially. Otherwise, 400,000, 4 lakh people lost their lives in USA because of COVID, because they did not anticipate what should happen. And we have lost also similar, but we are not showing. Is therefore worrisome. One worry is that you are not serious and you could not do that. Whatever is that. Contents of contract, scope of contract, scope of responsibility. Once you list in your mind and start doing. हाँ आ रहा हूँ अभी. And my time is so I have to move. Sorry, gentlemen, this time I am moving now. It's now finished, so I go back. Sorry, today is difficult, and now I'm going back.